So I don't normally film 2 videos in one day, but I'm gonna film 2 videos today. It's been a little bit since I filmed our last one and there's been a lot going on. I just filmed a video of practical updates and kind of to give you like the nuts and bolts of what's been going on with the ministry. But I also wanted to film this video to give you like ministry updates. And I'm titling this video the DMV Testimony. In this video, I'm going to tell you one unplanned ministry testimony and one planned ministry testimony, okay? One story about something that is not in our normal whole heart ministry, but if you watched our vision casting video, you saw that a big priority of our ministry is freedom. It's to walk in the Holy Spirit and just go and speak to and minister to whoever we feel like the Lord is calling us to minister to say no and yes as the Lord guides us, not only according to our schedule or according to our expected plans. So this is about one unplanned opportunity and just a brief testimony about our planned discipleship coming out of that daily, weekly discipleship that we're doing. So here's the unplanned story. About, about a week and a half ago, Ishan and I went to the DMV. Dun, 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 right? Everyone's like, no, not the DMV, right? The DMV is notorious for being like a long wait and for being frustrating and for like little policy issues or problems. You didn't bring something, you got to come back like 2 months later, whatever. We went to the DMV and we were just going in faith, just trusting the Lord. And because I had to get a new license plate. I'd gotten a new driver's license, but I needed a new license plate. So we went in to get this new license plate. It was specifically a license plate office, so it was a little bit smaller. Ishan needed to be there because she's becoming like co-owner of the vehicle that I'm driving. We're married, so if you're married, you should put both your names on everything, unify your finances, vehicles, etc. Anyway, so she's becoming the co-owner of the vehicle. She had to be there. We wait in line for not too long, maybe 20 minutes or so, and we go up to the counter and there's a woman there and she's serving us, and as she's serving us, she's just kind of heavy in her spirit. Maybe she feels a little bit frustrated, a little bit annoyed, and just maybe not having a good day. And we're feeling this, and it's a little bit hard. And as we go to leave, I notice on her wrist she has a Jesus Christ, I think it says Jesus Christ is the answer wristband. And we leave and we go home. And I was just thinking about this woman. I just kept kind of seeing her face. She was wearing a mask, but I just kept kind of seeing her in my head that evening. And I was just like praying for her and thinking about it. And we had prayer meeting that night. It was a Wednesday, and we were praying for this woman because I'm like, man, like she's a follower of Jesus, or she's associating with Jesus at least, but there's something going on with this woman and with this job. And so the next day, Thursday morning, I was praying and the Lord just wouldn't take this dear lady off my mind. And I was like, Lord, what do you want us to do? She's representing Jesus, but it seems like she's having a hard time. What would you like me to do? And this thought came into my mind. Go back to the DMV and befriend this woman and just invite her over for dinner with you and Ishan, and just see if you can maybe pray for her and just encourage her and help her in her faith, figure out where she's at. And so I was like, okay, that's a little intense, but I love it. Let's do it, Lord. And I call Ishan, my ever faithful wife. And I'm like, hey, Ishan, you know that lady that served us yesterday? What if we go back and we invite her over and see if she'll spend some time with us and see what God's gonna do? And Ishan's like, okay, let's do it. So I'm like, yes, meet me there at 3:15. So Ishan writes this little note and writes her address on it and writes her phone number, and we go in there to invite her over. We're waiting in line, we go up to the counter, and we're like, hey, we were here yesterday and you served us and gave us a license plate. And she's like, uh-huh. And we're like, we noticed that you had that Jesus is the answer wristband, and we're Christians also. And we noticed that maybe there was some heaviness in your spirit yesterday, and we recognize that this is probably a very hard job, and we just want to befriend you and invite you over. Would you come to our house for dinner, and could we just bless you and just take some time with you and get to know you? And for a moment we're like, oh man, what's she gonna say? But very quickly she was like, yes. She's like, yeah, I'll come. And we're kind of like, you will? And she's like, yeah, I'll come. We're like, yeah, okay, awesome. Please come. Yeah, let's do it next Thursday, 1 week from today. Come to our house at 6:30. And she's like, okay. So we leave her the note, we leave her the number, and we leave. And we don't hear from her, no text, no call or anything like that. And next Thursday rolls around. And we get dinner ready. Ishan and I are trying to make something not fancy or anything, but just like something good. We make like some Aldi salmon and some rice and salad. And we're waiting for her, and it's like 6:30, and we're like, oh Lord. Earlier in the day, I was like, Lord, should we go back over there and just reconfirm our invitation to her and be like, please come. We were serious about that when we invited you. But I felt the Lord was like, trust me. He was like, don't try and do anything else. Don't try and go over there. Just trust me. And so I was like, okay, we're just gonna trust you. 6:30 comes on Thursday night, and our friend, we found out her name's Sonia was not showing up, and we're like, oh man. And we're waiting, and like we're on our phone, and Ishan had just met with someone that day and was watching some testimonies kind of that person had out, and we're watching these testimonies, and it's 6:45 and no one's there, and I'm just like, Lord, yours is the kingdom. If you didn't want her to come, you had other plans, it's fine. And just a little later than that, knock, 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 there's a knock on the door. We're like, oh! And we get up, we run to the door, we're like, calm down. And we open the door, and there is this woman, our friend from the DMV, and she brought her mom with her, because if two crazy people randomly invited you over for dinner, you might bring a friend too, right? And so she brings her mom, and they come in and sit down, and we have this amazing little dinner for about an hour and 15 minutes, maybe an hour and a half. And it's a little bit awkward because we don't like know each other, and we're from like different cultures, but like towards the end we start to just like open up more, and we got to know her heart. She's a dog lover and just has a really sweet spirit, and at the end of the meal we just got to lay hands on her and pray for her and just kind of commission her to be Jesus there at the DMV, and it was amazing. And we made a new friend, and God was working powerfully. God loves to do unplanned things. He loves to create new bonds and new friendships. He loves to minister to people's hearts, even in places that you're not expecting. One of the big things about Whole Heart Ministries is we want to have the freedom to go or say or do anything that the Lord calls us to. We were so excited to meet this woman and for what the Lord did through that. Second, final thing, a planned ministry moment that the Lord was doing. I've been doing discipleship. I have 7 out of 12 disciples, and I'm ministering to them, and they're ministering to me, and we're talking on the phone or in person at least every other week, at least twice a month. I'm trying to get to them, and God's doing a lot in their lives. I want to share with you just the content of a text message. I have this paper with me because I typed it out, of a text message that one of my disciples sent to me. A huge thing about my ministry is intimacy, that I'm always pushing people toward intimacy with Jesus, towards going deep, to truly praying, into heartfelt relationship, into openness of every room in the house to Jesus. And sometimes that takes a while for people to really be able to enter into, but when you get into intimacy with Jesus, the deepest healing takes place. And I just want to share this text message. I've been talking with this person quite a bit. I'm not going to say which disciple this is, but this person was going through a number of transitions in their life, and just some hard things, but they've been pressing into Christ in the midst of the difficulty. And this is kind of a late night text message that they sent me just this week. They said this. I'm just going to pause and stand here. They said, "Hey, Pastor Sam, I finally got the chance to sit down and just do my prayer journaling today. It was more intense than I thought. At first, it was just my thoughts, nothing much. But as I opened more of my heart, the more intensity and more of my hurt came out. I finally understand what you mean by telling me to let it all go to Jesus. All my hurt and confusion, just being real instead of bottling it up. There is still more work to be done, but I feel a little lighter. Just laying all my pain in front of Jesus and just talking with him and soaking in his love and being in that quiet place with him and having him listen. I feel his protection over me and just his love. At one point I was crying while writing, and I just felt him near me, and I felt him almost say, I know this hurt you, and that he was there for me. It was quite an experience. I feel like I've been running away from him for a while and closing up my heart, but I feel like Jesus never gave up on chasing after my heart. Sorry for the late night messaging, just something I thought I might want to share as an update. God is doing things planned and unplanned right now. Wherever the Lord sends his people, he makes ministry appointments. Whoever we talk with, God can work something in their heart. And the Lord's working so much in our disciples, and he's working in people that we bump into every day. Thank you for just praying for us and just supporting our ministry. Thank you in your location for catching the whole heart movement and for living out the gospel of Jesus Christ.